History of the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. The Great Barrier Reef is a site of striking assortment and magnificence on the northeast bank of Australia. It contains the world's biggest assortment of coral reefs, with 400 sorts of coral, 1,500 types of fish and 4,000 kinds of mollusk. It additionally holds incredible logical interest as the environment of species like the dugong, ocean cow, and the enormous green turtle, which are undermined with eradication. Brief union. As the world's most broad coral reef biological system, the Great Barrier Reef is a worldwide exceptional and critical substance. Basically, the whole environment was engraved as World Heritage in 1981, covering a space of 348,000 square kilometers and stretching out across an adjoining latitudinal scope of 10 os to 24 os. The Great Barrier Reef, henceforth alluded to as GBR, incorporates broad cross-rack variety, extending from the low water mark along the terrain coast as much as 250 kilometers seaward. This wide profundity range incorporates tremendous shallow inshore regions, mid-rack and external reefs, and past the mainland rack to maritime waters more than 2,000 meters down. Inside the GBR there are nearly 2,500 individual reefs of fluctuating sizes and shapes, and more than 900 islands, going from little sandy cays and bigger vegetated cays, to enormous tough mainland islands ascending, in one example, more than 1,100 meters above ocean level. All in all, these scenes and seascapes give the absolute most breathtaking sea landscape on the planet. The latitudinal and cross-rack variety, joined with variety through the profundities of the water section, incorporates a worldwide interesting exhibit of environmental networks, natural surroundings and species. This variety of species and environments, and their interconnectivity, make the GBR one of the most extravagant and most complex normal biological systems on Earth. There are more than 1,500 types of fish, around 400 types of coral, 4,000 types of mollusk, and about 240 types of birds, in addition to an incredible variety of wipes, anemones, marine worms, shellfish, and different species. No other World Heritage property contains such biodiversity. This variety, particularly the endemic species, implies the GBR is of huge logical and natural significance, and it additionally contains a critical number of undermined species. At time of engraving, the IUCN assessment expressed, if only one coral reef site on the planet were to be picked for the World Heritage List, the Great Barrier Reef is the site to be picked. The GBR is of standout common excellence above and underneath the water, and gives probably the most tremendous view on Earth. It is one of a couple of living designs noticeable from space, showing up as an unpredictable line of reefal structures along Australia's upper east coast. From the air, the huge mosaic examples of reefs, islands and coral cays produce an unrivaled ethereal scene of seascapes including assorted shapes and sizes. The Whitsunday Islands give a glorious vista of green vegetated islands and tremendous sandy seashores spread over purplish-blue waters. This differentiations with the huge mangrove backwoods in Hinchinbrook Channel, and the tough vegetated mountains and lavish rainforest gorges that are occasionally cloud-covered on Hinchinbrook Island. On a significant number of the cays there are breathtaking and internationally significant rearing settlements of seabirds and marine turtles, and Rain Island is the world's biggest green turtle reproducing region. On some mainland islands, huge accumulations of overwintering butterflies intermittently happen. Underneath the sea surface, there is a wealth and variety of shapes, sizes and tones, for instance, terrific coral gatherings of hard and delicate corals, and a great many types of reef fish give a horde of splendid tones, shapes and sizes. The globally prestigious Cod Hole close to Lizard Island is one of numerous critical vacation destinations. Other standout common wonders incorporate the yearly coral-generating, moving whales, settling turtles, and critical producing collections of many fish species. The GBR, expanding 2,000 kilometers along Queensland's coast, is a universally exceptional illustration of a biological system that has advanced over centuries. The region has been uncovered and overflowed by in any event 4 Chilean interglacial cycles, and in the course of recent years reefs have developed on the mainland rack. During cold periods, ocean levels dropped, uncovering the reefs as level beat slopes of disintegrated limestone. Enormous waterways wandered between these slopes and the coastline broadened further east. During interglacial periods, rising ocean levels caused the arrangement of mainland islands, coral cays and new periods of coral development. This natural history can be found in centers of old monstrous corals. Today the GBR structures the world's biggest coral reef biological system, going from inshore bordering reefs to mid-rack reefs, and uncovered external reefs, including instances of all phases of reef improvement. The cycles of land and geomorphological advancement are very much addressed, connecting mainland islands, coral cays and reefs. The shifted seascapes and scenes that happen today have been shaped by changing environments and ocean levels, and the erosive force of wind and water, throughout long time frames. 33% of the GBR lies past the offshore edge of the shallower reefs. This region contains mainland incline and profound maritime waters and deep fields. The universally critical variety of reef and island morphologies reflects progressing geomorphic, oceanographic and ecological cycles. The mind-boggling cross-rack, longshore and vertical availability is affected by unique maritime flows and progressing biological cycles, for example, upwellings, larval dispersal and movement. Continuous disintegration and accumulation of coral reefs, shoals and coral cays join with comparative cycles along the coast and around mainland islands. Broad beds of Halimeda green growth address dynamic calcification and accumulation more than millennia. Organically, the interesting variety of the GBR mirrors the development of a biological system that has advanced over centuries. Proof exists for the advancement of hard corals and other fauna. Worldwide critical marine faunal bunches incorporate more than 4,000 types of mollusks, more than 1,500 types of fish, in addition to an extraordinary variety of wipes, anemones, marine worms, scavengers, and numerous others. The foundation of vegetation on the cays and mainland islands epitomizes the significant job of birds, like the pied imperial pigeon, in cycles, for example, seed dispersal and plant colonization. Human communication with the regular habitat is represented by solid continuous connections among Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders and their ocean country, and incorporates various shell stores, middens, and fish traps, in addition to the utilization of story spots and marine emblems. The colossal size and variety of the GBR implies it is one of the most extravagant and most complex normal biological systems on Earth, and quite possibly the most critical for biodiversity preservation. The astonishing variety upholds a huge number of marine and earthbound species, a considerable lot of which are of worldwide preservation importance. As the world's most mind-boggling region of coral reefs, the reefs contain nearly 400 types of corals in 60 genera. There are likewise huge naturally significant between reef-owl regions. The shallower marine regions support a large portion of the world's variety of mangroves and numerous seagrass species. The waters additionally give significant taking care of grounds to one of the world's biggest populaces of the compromised dugong. At any rate, 30 types of whales and dolphins happen here, and it is a critical region for humpback whale calving. 6 of the world's 7 types of marine turtle happen in the GBR. Just as the world's biggest green turtle rearing site at Rain Island, the GBR likewise incorporates numerous locally significant marine turtle rookeries. Somewhere in the range of 242 types of birds have been recorded in the GBR. 22 seabird species breed on cays and some mainland islands, and a portion of these reproducing destinations are worldwide huge. Other seabird species additionally use the region. The mainland islands support a great many plant-animal categories, while the coral cays likewise have their own unmistakable greenery. Honesty. The natural honesty of the GBR is upgraded by the unmatched size and current great condition of preservation across the property. At the hour of engraving, it was felt that to incorporate for all intents and purposes the whole Great Barrier Reef inside the property was the best way to guarantee the uprightness of the coral reef biological systems in the entirety of their variety. Various characteristic pressing factors happen, including tornadoes, crown of thistles, starfish flare-ups, and abrupt enormous inundations of freshwater from outrageous climate occasions. Also, there is a scope of human uses like the travel industry, delivery and seaside advancements including ports. There are likewise a few aggravations confronting the GBR that are traditions of past activities preceding the engraving of the property on the World Heritage List. At the size of the GBR environment, most territories or species bunches have the ability to recuperate from unsettling influence or withstand progressing pressures. The property is generally unblemished and incorporates the fullest conceivable portrayal of marine environmental, physical and compound cycles from the coast to the profound deep waters, empowering the key reliant components to exist in their regular connections. A portion of the key environmental, physical and synthetic cycles that are fundamental for the drawn-out protection of the marine and island biological systems and their related biodiversity happen beyond the property, and subsequently powerful preservation programs are fundamental across the connecting catchments, marine and beachfront zones. Insurance and the board prerequisites. The GBR covers roughly 348,000 square kilometers. The majority of the property exists in the GBR Marine Park, at 344,400 square kilometers. This federal marine park involves around 99% of the property. The GBR Marine Park's legitimate locale closes at low water mark along the territory, except for port regions, and around islands, except for 70 Commonwealth oversaw islands which are essential for the marine park. Likewise, the GBR additionally incorporates more than 900 islands inside the ward of Queensland, about portion of which are announced as public parks, and the interior waters of Queensland that happen inside the World Heritage Limit, counting various since a long time ago settled port regions. The World Heritage property is and has consistently been overseen as a numerous utilization region. Utilizations incorporate a scope of business and sporting exercises. The administration of an enormous and notable world legacy property is made more unpredictable because of the covering state and federal wards. The Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority, an autonomous Australian government organisation, is answerable for insurance and the executives of the GBR Marine Park. The Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Act 1975 was changed in 2007 and 2008, and now accommodates the drawn-out assurance and protection of the Great Barrier Reef region, with explicit notice of meeting Australia's duties under the World Heritage Convention. Queensland is answerable for the executives of the Great Barrier Reef Coast Marine Park, set up under the Marine Parks Act 2004, Queensland. This is touching with the GBR Marine Park and covers the region among low and high water imprints and a large number of the waters inside the jurisdictional furthest reaches of Queensland. Queensland is additionally answerable for the board of a large portion of the islands. The covering jurisdictional game plans imply that the significance of corresponding enactment and correlative administration of islands and the encompassing waters is very much perceived by the two governments. Solid helpful organisations and formal arrangements exist between the Australian government and the Queensland government. Moreover, solid connections have been worked among governments and business and sporting enterprises, research foundations and colleges. On the whole, this gives an exhaustive administration impact over a lot more extensive setting than simply the marine regions and islands. Improvement and land use exercises in beachfront and water catchments contiguous the property additionally affect the qualities inside the property. The Queensland Government is answerable for regular asset the board and land use making arrangements for the islands, coast and hinterland contiguous the GBR. Other Queensland and federal enactment additionally ensures the property's outstanding universal value tending to such matters as water quality, transporting the board, ocean unloading, fisheries the executives and natural security. The Federal Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act 1999 (EPBC Act) gives an all-encompassing component to shielding the World Heritage esteems from improper turn of events, including activities taken inside or outside which could affect on its legacy esteems. This requires any advancement proposition to go through thorough natural effect appraisal measures, regularly including public counsel, after which the federal minister may choose to endorse, dismiss or support under conditions intended to relieve any huge effects. A new change to the EPBC Act makes the GBR Marine Park an extra trigger for a question of national environmental significance, which gives extra insurance to the qualities inside the GBR. The GBR Marine Park and the abutting GBR Coast Marine Park are drafted to consider a wide scope of sensible uses while guaranteeing by and large security, with preservation being the essential point. The drafting range accommodates expanding levels of security for the center preservation regions, which involve the 115,000 square kilometers of no-take and no-section zones inside the GBR. While the zoning plan is the foundation of the executives and gives a spatial premise to figuring out where numerous exercises can happen, drafting is just one of numerous spatial administration devices and arrangements applied to on the whole secure the GBR. A few exercises are better overseen utilizing other spatial and worldly administration devices like plans of management, special management areas, agreements with traditional owners and licenses, regularly attached to explicit zones or more modest regions inside zones, however giving a nitty-gritty degree of the board unrealistic by drafting alone. These legal instruments additionally secure the outstanding universal value of the property. Numerous Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people groups attempt customary utilization of marine asset exercises to give conventional food, practice their living oceanic culture, and to instruct more youthful ages about conventional and social standards and conventions. In the GBR, these exercises are overseen under both federal and Queensland enactment and approaches, including traditional use of marine resource agreements, TUMRAs, and Indigenous land use agreements, ILUAs. These at present cover approximately 30% of the GBR inshore region, and backing traditional owners to keep up social associations with their ocean country. Essentially non-legal instruments like CITE, the executives and industry codes of practice add to the insurance of World Heritage esteems. Some spatial administration apparatuses are not forever set up nor show up as a feature of the drafting, yet accomplish compelling assurance for components of biodiversity. For example, the transient terminations that are enacted across the GBR disallow all reef fishing during explicit moon stages when reef fish are bringing forth. Other key drives giving expanded insurance to the GBR incorporate the comprehensive Great Barrier Reef Outlook Report, and its subsequent 5-yearly revealing interaction, the Reef Water Quality Protection Plan, the GBR Climate Change Action Plan, and the Reef Guardian Stewardship Programs, which include building connections and working intimately with the individuals who utilize and depend on the GBR or its catchment for their amusement or their business. The 2009 Outlook Report distinguished the drawn-out difficulties confronting the GBR. These are overwhelmed by environmental change over the course of the following not many years. The degree and perseverance of harm to the GBR biological system will depend generally on the measure of progress on the planet's environment and on the flexibility of the GBR environment to such change. This report likewise recognized kept declining water quality from land-based sources, loss of beachfront territories from seaside advancement, and a few effects from fishing, illicit fishing and poaching as the other need issues requiring the executive's consideration for the drawn-out insurance of the GBR. Arising issues since the 2009 Outlook Report incorporate proposed port extensions, expansions in transportation movement, seaside improvement and escalation, and changes in land use inside the GBR catchment, populous development, the effects from marine garbage, criminal operations, and outrageous climate occasions including floods and tornadoes. Further structure the strength of the GBR by improving water quality, lessening the deficiency of waterfront environments and expanding information about fishing and its belongings and empowering altered practices, will allow the GBR its best opportunity of adjusting to and recuperating from the dangers ahead, including the effects of an evolving environment. Thanks for watching. Bye now.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Life is Often if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.